Hi everyone, my name is Anna and welcome to Cactus Caffeine, where I share with you my passion of growing cactus and other desert plants over a cup of coffee. So the time has come, guys. The task that I am dreading to do every year, I have to do it now, and that is cleaning up my greenhouse. So right now we are still in the 80s, but by next week the temperatures are expected to go down in the 30 degrees Fahrenheit or below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So I have to start preparing my greenhouse now, because I know that this will not take me just one day to do. So it'll take me probably the whole week to finish the entire task. Also considering that I have to work on certain days, so I will not be working on this every day. So this is my greenhouse. It is a rather small greenhouse, so it is only 6 feet by 4 feet, and I only use this greenhouse during the coldest months of the year. So I use this around November till February, usually around those months. And then for the rest of the year, this greenhouse is just a storage space. So as you can see, excuse the mess guys, but in reality this is how my greenhouse is used for the most part of the year. So I have my plant stuff there mixed with my husband's tools and my son's toys. So this is what I have to work on right now. So join me in this process of preparing my greenhouse for the winter. I want to show you as well how I insulated the floor of my greenhouse. So my greenhouse sits on top of pavers, and pavers in the summer they get very hot, but in the winter they also get very cold. So I have to cover the pavers to keep the heat inside my greenhouse. So at the very top here, this is actually just a foam, a rubber foam, but underneath it I have an insulation sheet. Now this is actually used for construction. They put it in like insulation for the walls in the garage. But this one that I have is actually a thin one, one of the thinnest ones. It has a foam underneath this foil, so that keeps it insulated. I did not buy a new one anymore because this is just a spare that we have in our garage. It's a spare from one of my husband's projects, so that's what I used underneath this. And then I have this foam on top of it for additional insulation, and also it'll be easier for me to clean up if I have this rubber foam or rubber flooring on top of it. So now I have finished removing everything that was inside this greenhouse. I did a little bit of sweeping of the floor, but the next thing that I have to do is I have to remove all these bubble wraps, the old bubble wraps, so that I can wash this greenhouse inside and out. It has been 8 months that I have been using this greenhouse just as a storage space. So it has accumulated dust inside and out. So now it is time to give it a shower. Now that I have my greenhouse all clean inside and out, the next step that I will do is do the bubble wrapping. So I will use this bubble wrap inside my greenhouse. On the sides, as well as on the roof. Don't forget your roof. So this bubble wrap will act as an insulation, and if you have a heater inside your greenhouse, this will keep the heat inside. And now it is time to choose which one will make it in my greenhouse, which one I can put in the garage, and which ones has to stay here outside. Okay, so we were able to move one rack with plants here in the middle, the tallest one. The other one, I put it here on the left side. I should be able to put in 3 racks, so one more on this side. These are what I have moved in so far for this rack. So as you can see, I am not done. There's still a lot of space. I still have a lot of plants outside. And then I placed an improvised rack on this section, this small section. And then I also was able to bring in the 3rd rack here inside. But I still have a lot of cacti outside. All my gymnos are still outside the greenhouse, so I have yet to move them in here. Alright everyone, I finally completed this project, so I was able to fill my greenhouse with the plants that I am going to overwinter. So let me just show you what I did here. So let me open the door so you can see. So you might be wondering, what is this black shade cloth doing here? So this is just temporary because it is still sunny in the morning, so I had to temporarily put this shade cloth to block the sun because right now the sun still shines directly from the door here, and this rack right here takes a lot of sun in the morning. And the first 2 days that I did not put the shade cloth up, I noticed that some of them started to go a little bit yellow, so I was afraid that they might burn. So I put temporarily this shade cloth right here on by the door. Okay, so in the winter time the sun is going to be moving, so instead of going through the door right here, I know it's going to move this way, so the sun will be coming from this direction instead. But that would be maybe probably late December to January. But as of now, the sun shines through this door directly, and without this protection, I was afraid some of my delicate cacti here might show signs of burning. So that's why I put this shade cloth right here by the door. And then down here, I'm sorry, am I getting you dizzy? But it is a little bit difficult to walk inside this greenhouse because look, I have a very tiny space left to walk around in my greenhouse. I would say I only have maybe I don't know, maybe 3 square feet of space to walk here in the greenhouse. Here is my heater down here, so I will show you this heater later on. Alright, so how did I arrange my plants here inside the greenhouse? Well, as much as I want to arrange them by, say, genus or classification, the main consideration that I did when I fixed this greenhouse is by the size of the pots because my first and foremost consideration is space. So I am trying to maximize the space So the way I arranged the greenhouse is the way that I could maximize the space. So based on the pots that will fit on the rack. But these are not permanent. I know that for certain. So as time goes by, I would have to watch these plants. So I would be moving them around. If I see one that's getting too maybe scorched by the sun, I might move them around. If something shows signs of cold damage or starting signs of cold damage, I might move them inside the house or in my garage where it is warmer. And then on this top rack right here, as you can see, I left spaces in between. I did not pack them because I still want the sun to shine through it, so that the bottom racks over here and underneath can still get some sun. So on that section there, I'm still trying to think what I can put in there because that gets the least amount of sun. Yeah, so I'll figure that out later. But like I've said, this is not permanent yet. I just tried moving as much as I can and as quick as I can inside the greenhouse because it has gotten so cold suddenly. So I'm thinking of moving all my aloes and haworthia inside my garage instead. And I probably would just keep all cactus inside this greenhouse. But we will see. I would have to find out, and I think I would be needing one more grow light in the garage to be able to move more plants in there. So as of now, this is how my greenhouse turned out. So I had everything bubble wrapped, including the ceiling. I have the vent open there. You know, every day in the morning I have to open this vent and the door because the morning we still get a lot of sun. So my greenhouse heats up a lot. One morning that I forgot to vent it, the temperature inside the greenhouse went as high as 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So I have the sensor right there. And then at night, the temperature drops below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So the temperature swing here in the desert right now is really crazy. So, oh, the heater, I forgot to mention. I said I will talk about the heater in a while. So this is what I use for this greenhouse. This is actually a small space heater. This is meant to be used for a small room inside the house. But this is what I ended up using in my greenhouse. As much as I want to use, you know, those heaters that are meant for greenhouses, I haven't found anything that is small to fit in my greenhouse because I have a tiny greenhouse. This is only 6 feet by 4 feet. So those heaters that are meant for outdoors or for greenhouse, they're too big for my greenhouse. So this is the best or the perfect one that I've used or found so far. So this heater actually blows air 360 degrees, so all around it blows air. But when it does that, it doesn't blow too far. So it only blows maybe 6 inches away from the heater, so 6 inches around it, which is enough so that it doesn't hit any of my plants over here. So if I put this heater right in the middle, so as you can see, it will not hit any of the plants directly. I have this heater also on timer. So the timer is on my socket. So I have a timer in my socket and I only turn this on for 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes, and then I let it rest. And then depending on how cold it is in the night, I would probably turn it back on after maybe an hour and a half or an hour for another 30 minutes. So that's how I do my timer. I try to keep the temperature in my greenhouse to at least 40 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so I try not to get my greenhouse temperature below 40 degrees Fahrenheit. So usually I have the heater on only very early in the morning. So depending on how cold it is, but right now I only turn my heater on very early in the morning, around maybe 2 in the morning for about 30 minutes, and then at 5 in the morning for another 30 minutes. And so far that is enough to keep my greenhouse warm. Also on top here on the roof, there are hooks where I hang 1 or 2 pots. So I have one of my Schlumbergera pots would hang actually there on top. I just took it down for now so I can walk in and film, but normally yes, there would be a pot that would be hanging from the roof. Alright everyone, that is it for this video. I would like to thank everyone who joined me today, and stay tuned for part 2 when I show you the plants that I will be overwintering in my garage. So I will be fixing my garage next, and also I will show you how I will arrange the plants that will stay outside in my backyard to overwinter. Oh, and just a quick one right here, look, one of my succulents is flowering. And also one lithup that survived this summer. This is the only pot that survived, and look, it is beginning to open its flower. All right, if you like this video guys, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you like cactus and other desert plants. So until next time again, bye and cheers.